So continuing on with the presentation, the title of our presentation is The Bull. The Bull is a one-act play which is written by Bhimnidhi Tiwari and it is under the literature section of our grade 12 English book. For today's presentation, the names of the presenters are displayed here on the screen. We are here from roll number 498 to 504. But before proceeding on with the presentation, first and foremost, on behalf of my group, I would like to express our special thanks of gratitude to our English teacher, Khushbu Kesi ma'am, for her constant guidance, assistance, supervision, encouragement, and for her kind support to us all the way through this project. Secondly, we would also like to express our gratitude to our friends and family for their precious feedbacks and suggestions, which helped in the completion of this project within the limited time frame. Now, let's proceed ahead with the presentation.
Now let's talk about the writer. The writer of this one-act play is Bhimnidhi Tiwari, who was a famous poet, a story writer, dramatist, as well as a passionate social reformer. He established Nepal Natak Sangh in 1949 and promoted Nepali plays and encouraged other Nepali writers to write plays. Moreover, he wrote famous plays like Mato Maya, Silanyas, and others. He published over 38 works in various styles and won Madan Puraskar for Literature in 1970. Moving towards the preceding story of this one-act play, King Rana was fond of rearing four-footed animals. Among the four-footed animals too, he was especially keen on rearing bulls. He was the first person to start a practice of releasing a bull with a burnt mark every month at Pashupatinath temple. He had also maintained Thulo Gauchar, a large cow pasture. One day a bull named Male fell sick and as Rana Bahadur was fond of rearing bulls, he had threatened the bull doctor. He would get saved if you came to tell me that a bull died, but unfortunately the bull died and the play starts.
Now moving forward to the overview of the play. Let's talk about the elements of the play. There are 6 elements of the play. Plot, which means refers to the action and the basic storyline of the play. There are 6 stages in the plot structure. Initial incident, preliminary event, rising action, climax, falling action, denouement. Characters. The characters are the people portrayed by the actors in the play, and it is the characters who move the action or plot. Characterization is the way an author presents a character. Some types of character are protagonist, antagonist, side characters, etc. Themes. Themes refer to meaning of play. Themes is the main idea or lesson to be learned from the play. In some cases, the theme of play is obvious, other time it is quite subtle. We will be also discussing the theme of this play later on after each scene. Language. Language is in play is represented as spoken language, or in other words as speech. A feature that it shares with everyday speech is the fact that it performs its performance is bound to a communicative situation. Rhythm. Rhythm refers to timing and pace of drama. It also means the beat or tempo of the performance. And lastly, spectacle. It refers to the visual element of play, like sets, costumes, special effect. As we are not performing this play live, so spectacle is not needed.
Now let's talk about the major genre and type of the play. The major genre of this play is tragedy and comedy. So taking this into consideration, this play can be considered as a tragicomedy play. Now we'll discuss about the format of the rest of the presentation. We'll begin by narrating each scene, followed by a summary, character analysis, and the analysis of the themes. With this, let's move further.
Now let's get introduced to the characters of this play. The first character is the King Rana Bahadur Shah, who is the grandson of Prithvinarayan Shah and the son of Pratap Singh Shah. And he's a controversial 23-year-old king around the late 18th century. And throughout this presentation, I will be narrating his dialogues.
So it is with Lakshmi Narayan. He works for the Samarjag firm as a Subedar. Here the Subedar refers to a person in charge of soldiers. He is also the Tapali court's Bichari and a 40-year-old bull doctor. Here Bichari means the one who analyzes and presents his thoughts in the court at that time. And I'll be his narrator throughout the play.
In this one-act play, Chitman is represented as a cowherd, and I'm going to be narrating his part in this presentation.
Gore is also represented as the cowherd of the bull named Male, and I will be narrating as Gore.
Scene 1. In the month of Aswin, Vikram Samvat 1854, on the cowyard in the morning. Birds are chirping in the trees, and Lakshmi Narayan can be seen at the yard of his house. He is squatting on the carpet.
How immoral and carefree have you all become? I could not be happy even after having 7 wives. I am waiting for having a pop-up hookah. Nobody brings it. Hey, flat-nosed one. Hey, beautiful one. Hey, butterfly. Hey, swallow. The eldest one. Hey, the one with the ugly face. May you all die at once. All pretend as if they have not heard even after hearing. There is nothing else except rivalry in each and everything.
Jitman and Gore arrive there, running out of breath.
What's the matter? How is the bull?
He died, Bazi. The bull has died.
Huh?
He has just died.
Has he already died?
He stretched its body and his eyes have grown still.
His tail has gone loose.
Now your father will kill us. You will get me saved. You both will be beheaded. We are completely doomed.
What should we do, Bazi? Should I run away to my home at Unibasi? I love my younger son.
What should we do, Bazi? You should save our life. Life is a big deal.
How will your life be saved? He got my mouth burned by speaking in a loud voice. A black patch is still visible. No mustache grows on this side. Now the bull has died. How will our life be saved? But wait. I'll try my best to save you both. But how am I going to save myself? How did that young bull die?
It's not good to utter big words with this small mouth. How can the kind which lives on grass digest the fine rice and lentil soup of split red grounds? Prices are rising because of this. The price of 1 pati rice has reached 1 rupee. The price of 1 dharni ghee has reached 10 anna. Humans don't get to have the snack of meat. You would have guavas, bananas, and sticks of sugar canes in snacks, but just 1 or 2 days.
That's true. We have to sleep on the straw in the winter, mattress, coat, mosquito net for that least. Oh God.
You're right. Go and stay in the cow shed. Don't utter the bull is dead from your mouth in any case. Keep taking care of it. I go to the palace right now. Let's see what happens. If I don't go, I have many enemies. If somebody reported to the king about it, no hope for survival would be left. Go. Hey Khatri, get the horse ready.
The cow horns go away. One wife kills hookah and brings it with a pipe.
I'm about to lose my property. I'm about to get saved. How can I have hookah in such a situation? Take it back.
He goes. The wife keeps standing there bewildered. Now let's proceed on with the summary of scene 1. So at the beginning of the scene 1, we find 2 panic-stricken cowherds named Gore and Jitwan coming to the house of Lakshmi Narayan. They have come there to inform about the death of the beloved bull Malay of the monarch Rana Bahadur. All of them then become worried, anxious, and begins to frighten, thinking about the possible punishment they were to receive from the king upon the bull death. The king could even give them death penalty. Lakshmi Narayan was afraid of being shaved but got even more scared when he remembered that once his mouth was burnt as a punishment for speaking with a loud voice in front of the king. After that, Lakshmi Narayan's mustache never grows on that side. Both the cowherds then stated that bull had died because it didn't get enough of the grass to eat and that it could not digest all the fine rice and soup of split grams that it would get. Lakshmi Narayan then advises the cowherds not to notify a word about the bull death to the monarch. He warns them about the terrible fate that they were going to have afterwards and leave for the palace to alert the monarch regarding the bull's bad health.
Now let's move on to the character analysis of the first scene. So we are introduced to 3 characters in this scene, which are Lakshmi Narayan, Gore, and Jitman, and all the 3 characters are presented in a way that shows the king's upper hand. So first one is Lakshmi Narayan Dahal. Lakshmi Narayan Dahal in the first dialogues is presented as a selfish and materialistic person, as it is shown that he only cares about his hookah puffs and wishes all his 7 wives to die at once. This also shows that he prioritizes his own happiness, as he says that he couldn't even be happy after having 7 wives. A Upon learning about the bull's death, he is aware of the king's love for bulls and what limit he could go for them, and that's why he also says, "We are doomed." The next characteristic he fulfills is the steadfast for need of survival. Upon learning the bull's death and what consequences it could bring to the cowherds and Lakshmi himself, he promises to save all of their lives, which shows that he is steadfast for the need of survival. The next character is Gori. Gori is the character who is most freaked out by the death of the bull. He is aware of the eccentricity of the king and is also a realistic character, as he is the one who says that it is not good to utter big words with this small one. Then the third character is Jeetman. Jeetman is the person who believes home is where the heart is, as he is the character who says the dialogues, "Should I run away to my home at Bhimnidhi? I love my younger son." This also shows that he is a family person. Then he's also a character who shows dissatisfaction from the bull's more comfortable lifestyle than the cowherds. And this is an irony that the cowherds are the people who are responsible for the bull's life. Now let's move on to the themes. The first theme in the first scene is the frightening effects of monarchy on common people. We know all the characters are presented in a way that the king has his upper hand, and that is also the truth. And due to the king's upper hand, everybody's lives depend on him, and that is the extent of frightening effects that monarchy has on common people. The second theme is contemporary society of the late 1800s. In the late 1800s, Nepal's society was based on agriculture and animal husbandry, and they were all based on the principle of feudalism, which is discussed later by us. The third theme is need for survival. Need for survival is something that every one of us come across when there is a face of adversity. So in this scene, when the bull's death news is presented to us, all the three characters are shown that they just need to survive. No matter what, they just want their lives and their hearts to keep beating. The fourth theme and the most important theme is dehumanization of people. Dehumanization basically means the deprivation of personal qualities, rights, and dignity that people usually have. In this scene, the lives of people depend on animals, which is completely opposite case of what is the present situation. So that is how dehumanization of people is done throughout this play. Now let's move on to the second scene.
Scene number 2. On the same day in the morning, at a courtyard of Bachantapur Palace, after arriving there, Lakshminarayan reverently keeps standing, looking up towards the window.
What's the matter?
Swasti, 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 Your Majesty.
Why have you come here, Dahal? Hey, Lotse, why are you here so early in the morning?
Lakshmi Narayan joins both of his hands and in a very polite way.
If I don't ask for Your Majesty's favor, the issue is such that I must beg for your favor, Your Majesty. If I ask for Your Majesty's favor, I feel intolerable burning pain within. I don't know what has happened to the bull, sir. The sun has already gone high in the sky. He does not wake up. We served him breakfast. He didn't eat either. He does not move or speak. He's sleeping as if he is relaxed.
Huh? What did you say? Has he died?
He's staring with his steel eyes.
Wait. I will come down right there.
Lakshmi Narayan starts wiping tears from his forehead and while taking a deep breath.
Hey Ram, hey Krishna.
After a while, Lakshmi Narayan stands more reverently, and then there is entry of Rana Bahadur.
Huh? What did you say? Has he died?
He has not passed away yet, Your Majesty.
What do you say now?
Your Majesty, in spite of being human beings, all people are not alike. Your Majesty is a human being, so is a beggar. Your Majesty's name, fame, and deeds is worshipped all over the nation. What generosity in this lowly beggar Brahmin. Likewise, in spite of being bulls, all are not alike. Males are solid body, that beauty, that style of walking, that valiant fighting. Other bulls are not comparable to him at all. I'm anxious about his health. Shall I move him to the hill comfortably for a change of climate before the temperature rises? I'll act as per Your Majesty's order.
Okay, take him immediately. Do you need the supporting soldiers?
You will have more comfort with the cowherds rather than the soldiers. The cowherds have understood all of his desires. They know how and what will make him feel comfortable, Your Majesty.
Go. You should also accompany them.
Your Majesty, this beggar will also go. I have to take balls and administer medicine from time to time. Shall I take leave now?
Go. Take him away with a great care.
His Majesty, Swasti, Swasti, Swasti.
Whereas Rana Bahadur goes inside, Lakshmi Narayan goes outside.
Dahal, Dahal, Dahal. Let's say, look here. Look at this side.
His Majesty.
I will go to see him. If he gets better after treating here, why should we take him to the hill? Why should we give him a trouble without any reason?
Lakshmi Narayan, while bowing and joining two hands.
Your Majesty, the medicine administered here has relieved him a bit, but it has not cured him. Perhaps he needs a change in climate.
I will see him once. We are undertaking a convoy. Get the palanquin ready. Dal, understood? We have to go together. Wait for me outside the door.
Your Majesty, as per your order.
Both of them goes. For the summary of Scene 2. As formerly known in Scene 1, the cowards were forbade by Lakshmi Narayan to inform the king that the bull has died. Following his advice to both cowards, Lakshmi Narayan proceeds to bust on the bull palace to alert the monarch of the bull's bad health. Lakshmi Narayan courteously bends down in front of the king and informs him that the bull is sick without notifying the king straight away that the bull has died. The bull's sore, he claims, doesn't get up and have breakfast, neither moves nor speaks. He just looks at us with his eyes still. Lakshmi Narayan begins his chakari by complimenting the bull's beauty, walking style, and heroic battle and proposes that the bull be transported to the hill to help with climate change and bull's health. After hearing Lakshmi Narayan's statements, the king decides to personally inspect the bull's condition and leads a convoy on the palanquin to the cowshed at Thulu Culture.
Now moving towards the character analysis of Scene 2, there are two characters involved in this scene. The first one is Lakshmi Narayan and the second one is the king Rana Bahadur. The characters of Lakshmi Narayan. The first one is wise. Although he knows that the bull is already dead, he went to the palace and told the king that the bull fell sick and should be taken to the hill to ill health. This shows he is a very wise person. And second one is he is a liar, as he adds the truth that his bull is already dead. And third one is respects the king. He studies each and every line with swasti and majesty. This shows that he respects the king. It also may be due to monarchical system. The second one is Rana Bahadur. Shows love towards the bull. As he doesn't want to give trouble to the bull by taking him to the hill, he wants to see the bull once. This shows the love towards the bull. In addition to this, he believes someone easily. Even Lakshmi Narayan was wrong, he believed him. And the third one is his way of communication shows how arrogant he is, as he used the words like Laksha and others to Dahal.
Moving on with the themes of Scene 2. Scene 2 depicts the fear of the monarchical power on the feudal servants, deep affection towards animals' love. Pro-social lies are also shown as the Bichari hides the truth that the bull has died. False compliment as the Bichari signifies the beauty of the bull and its nature.
Scene 3. On the same day, in the morning, at the cowshed at Thulokochar, the bull is lying dead on a thick mattress. Jitman and Gore are squatting.
We have been two brothers till today, now we're going to be full brothers.
Will he behead us?
How will we get to survive?
Balbaze has gone to see the king. Let's see what decision he brings.
He is such a cunning man. He has access to the king. He will survive. We will be the victims. We'd better escape.
Where could the leader of the band escape? They'll bring us back and behead us. Look, Jide, the king seems to be on his convoy.
Yes, the palanquin at the front. Baze is following on foot. After Baze, Khatri is walking the horse.
What to do? We will get killed today.
This stupid bull. He died and he will get us killed now.
Look, the palanquin has stopped. Look, the convoy has come out in the meadow. Look, how fast the convoy is moving. See, I don't know why, but the Halbazi is running towards us, ahead of others.
What will he see now? Lakshminarayan enters and speaks in a hurry.
You massage the hinfield. You wave the fan from the front. Go down. Don't look up. Don't order the bull died from your mouth. Get it started. There is no guarantee whether you live or die.
Jitman starts massaging the hind legs of the bull. Gore starts waving a fan from the front, whereas nearby Lakshminarayan starts grinding medicine fast.
Male? Hey Male, what has happened to you? Get up! Get up!
Since midnight, Your Majesty, till now, this man is massaging the feet. Gore is waving the fan. I have been preparing and administering medicine. Bull sir swallows medicine. Neither does he get up, nor does he move. Neither does he pillow, nor does he eat anything. He's only listening to us. He keeps staring at us.
Huh? What happened to him? Male, get up. Are there any fruits? Bring him dal.
Lakshminarayan goes out and brings a hand of bananas immediately.
Bananas, Your Majesties, bananas.
Ranabhadur, while extending bananas to the mouth of the bull,
Eat. Dal, what happened to him? He does not breathe. He does not eat either. He seems to have died.
He has been looking so well with his eyes.
Look, his ears have drooped down. His tail has loosened. He has died. What climate do you make him change? He has died.
right after hearing that the bull has died, Jitman starts crying, placing his head on the thigh of the bull. Seeing that, Gore also stops waving the fan. He falls down on the horns of the bull and starts crying. I took care of you so much from your childhood. I brushed you and massaged your face so much. Today you You've gone, leaving me an orphan, bull sir. Where have you gone? His Majesty, what should I do now? I'm burning within.
Hey, coward. Why did you cry? It has died. What can we do about that?
My heart doesn't accept it, Your Majesty. No, it does not. My Male, what should I do? What sort of fate do I have?
Hey, Dal, console him.
Your Majesty, how would he accept? How would he be consoled? He has immensely been hurt.
Don't cry. You have received a tip of 400 rupees. Shut up now.
Right after hearing that Jitman has received a tip of 400 rupees, Gore also starts sobbing, falling at the feet of the bull.
For the sake of your care, I didn't think of anything. Home, mother, father, wife, and children. Bull sir, I will go with you. Either will I hang myself to death or I will get buried with you. I can't leave you. I can't.
Hey, Dal, console him too.
You will receive a favor from His Majesty. He has suffered to the limit. Your Majesty, don't cry. He would not let even a single fly sit on the bull's body. He would wave the fan day and night. He would take care of the bull all the time. Right after waking up, he would bow to all the 4 feet of the bull, saying, "This is my father. He has become an orphan, a helpless one."
Gore starts crying inconsolably.
Your Majesty, what should I do? Instead of him, I should have died.
Shut up. You will also receive a tip of 500 rupees. Naru.
Lakshminarayan starts acting as if the agony has come out of the navel itself and in a choked throat.
For the sake of the bull, sir, I also didn't think of hunger, thirst, and sleep. Even by compromising my sakari to Your Majesty, I took care of him night and morning. If he was living till today, what facilities I would receive, whom to say. My own fate is broken. I administered all types of syrups and medicines. His body had grown really strong and healthy. At such a tender age, he had already grown into a valiant fighter, defeating all other bulls. At such a rising youth, right in front of my eyes, Your Majesty.
Lakshmi Narayan fails to control himself and starts sobbing.
A weakling who has become a subedar of the company and a bichari. Why do you cry? Can't you console yourself? Shut up. Bury him with your own hand. You will perform its funeral rites. Make all the offerings to the priest on your own. I will take care of your worries.
Rana Bahadur then goes away. Lakshmi Narayan also follows him, and then after a while,
God, we survived. This carrion almost got us killed. I thought I was done for. Thank God we survived.
the curtain falls.
So now summarizing this scene, like after hearing Lakshmi Narayan's statement, the king also decided to personally inspect the bull's condition and leads the convoy to the palanquin to the cowshed at Tulagauchara where Jitman and Gori were, and Jitman and Gori on the other hand were both waiting impatiently at the cowshed for the king's decision. They also considered fleeing to save their lives, but they had believed that they will be apprehended and slaughtered again, so they didn't flee away, and the king is on their way there at Tulagauchara. Lakshmi Narayan dashes ahead of the caravan to tell the cowherds to massage the bull's back, feet, and wave the fan at the bull. They respond in kind. Lakshmi Narayan even assures the king that they have been caring for the bull since the wee hours. And on the mattress, the bull is actually dead. There is no movement in the room. It isn't doing either breathing or feeding. Its ears have been chopped and its tails have been loosened. Fear prevents the cowherds and Lakshmi Narayan from declaring it dead. The bull, according to King Rana Bahadur, is actually dead. Jitman begins to cry after listening to the kings and claim that he has been an orphan since the bull's death. The king gives him a 400 rupees tip and orders him to stay silent. Then Gori also begins to cry as well. He claims that the bull is more important to him than his mother, father, wife, and children. He also declares that he will either follow the bull or hang himself. The king declares a tip of 500 rupees after hearing Gori's words. Finally, Lakshmi Narayan begins to cry as well and act as if he is pain. The king chastises him and tells him to bury the bull, oversee the funeral procedure, and make offerings to the priests. Gori and Jitman express their joy at being alive.
Now moving on with the character analysis of scene 3. So the entire characters of this play are involved in this scene. At first we have Lakshmi Narayan. It is very clear and obvious from this whole scene that he is very smart and tactful. With his proper wit and tactics, he has saved himself along with the cowherd from the punishment of the king. Next, he is also seen scared. So instead of telling the bull is dead, he assures the king that they all have been caring for the bull since the early hours of the morning. Lakshmi Narayan is also someone who was very well notified about the flattery that is the chakari of the king. So before moving ahead, I'll just like to give a little background about the chakari system. So the concept of chakari was quite popular in Nepal back then during the king's rule. Chakari was a type of practice by which the individuals hope to gain the wealth and advancement in the return of the chakaris from the monarch, leaders, or the kings. Here in this play as well, we find that the play's main character Lakshmi Narayan is frequently seen to be doing chakari of the king. He even addresses the bull as the bull sir in order to show his so-called respect for the bull and to please the monarch. Similarly, it is also seen that he is quite pretentious in nature. He pretends himself to being in the agony and starts his melodrama by shedding crocodile tears when he finds out that Gore and Jitman have been getting tips while on the other hand he was empty-handed. Now moving on with the character analysis of the king. So it is very obvious that king immensely loved his pet and he made sure that it was provided with the best facilities. The king, when gets to know about his beloved's pet death, he accepts its death without any denial. He accepts the situation as it is. Similarly, the trustful nature of the king can vividly be observed through the scene. He has easily trusted the words of witty Lakshmi Narayan without even cross-checking or giving it a second thought. We can also say that king has a quite delicate personality. He easily fell for the melodrama of both of the cowherds and even gave them a tip of 400 and 500 rupees for their devotion and care towards the bull. And then finally, at last, we have the two cowherds, Gore and Jitman. At the beginning of this scene, we find two cowherds were nervous and anxious as they were desperately waiting at the cowshed to hear the ultimatum from the king. Similarly, they were so frightened and horrified that they even thought of escaping and living far away from the monarch to save their lives. But at the same time, they were quite hopeful upon the Lakshminarayan and his wit that he would save them. Likewise, we can also say that both of the cowherd also knew about the zakari of the king, as well as they were seen to be massaging and waving the fan as at the bull to display their so-called supposed affection for the bull. And when the king finally declared about the bull death, they both of them starts crying unconsolably and starts overemphasizing the thing, just like Jitman says that he had been an orphan after the bull's death, while Gore says he would rather go along with the bull and hang himself, so that king would forgive and have mercy upon them.
Now let's talk about the themes of scene 3. In scene 3 there are four major themes. The first one is influence of monarch power. In this scene, Lakshminarayan, Gore and Jitman are very afraid of King Ranbhadur, because if he finds the truth, they will be killed in no time. The second one is salvageability. Salvageability means to save from loss or destruction. In this scene, Lakshminarayan able to hide the fact that the bull is already dead, and finally they are saved from the king. Similarly, the third one is struggle for survival. The way they tackle the situation shows their struggle for survival. They maintain the secret in each step of this scene. And the fourth one is chaos. Chaos means complete state of confusion. Here Lakshminarayan is wandering here and there to be saved from the king, while Jitman and Gore are very nervous that what would be happen to them if the king finds the truth. This creates complete state of confusion between them.
Let me now summarize the entire play. In the play, the feudal structure of the then society, that is of the 18th century, was mocked in a sarcastic fashion. In general, a feudal system, also known as feudalism, is a social and political structure in which landowners give tenants land in exchange for their devotion and service. The word feudal system is frequently used in political debate to refer to an outdated, exploitative governance structure. Talking about the play, the story of the play has presented the death of the king, Ranabhadur Shah's bull called Male, in the panic situation of three major characters as the bull doctor and the two cowherds called Jitman and Gore, who later on struggle for their survival. They seem to be quite terrified of the possible and quite predictable death penalty from the king for the death of his cherished bull Male. The cunning Lakshminarayan then advises the cowherds not to inform the monarch or anybody else about the bull's death, considering that he has many enemies who would inform the king before he does. In such a case, within the enclaves of feudalism-based society, they have a little hope for survival. Then he notifies the king about the bull's condition, abiding by the fact that he is no more. Showing the false sentiments of care and compassion towards the bull, he proposes the monarch to relocate the bull in the different climate to help him with his health. First, he accepts the proposal, but suddenly he decides to personally inspect the condition of the bull. Whereas, on the other hand, Jitman and Gore were eagerly waiting for the verdict of the king in the cowshed. After a significant period of time of waiting, they were astonished by the king's arrival to the cowshed and lost all hope of survival at that point. Now being afraid and desperate for survival, Jitman begins to scream and cry in front of the king, but surprisingly gets away with unpredictable rewards instead of punishments. When jealous Gore notices that Jitman has received a prize for his acting, he begins shouting and pretending compassion as well, and walks away with 100 rupees more than that of Jitman. Then comes the most clever of them, Lakshminarayan's turn. Now, how could he pass up the reward in such a fantastic opportunity? He begins to sob as well, and he explains his contributions to the bull. Later, he receives specific words of praise and fulfillment of his aspirations from the monarch. Finally, when the king has left, they all are relieved. Their poor luck turned out to be a positive omen, as the death of the bull provided them with financial assistance as well as an access to the monarch's support and care in the coming days as well. Now let's move forward.
With this,
this presentation has ended here. I hope everybody present here has gained some sort of knowledge about the characters and the play in all together. If anybody has any queries regarding our presentation, then we all presenters are more than welcome to answer accordingly. If there aren't any, then we have few questions selected for discussion. Question number 1. Have you ever witnessed your pet's death? If yes, how did you feel? Question number 2. Lakshmi Narayan's lips were once burned as a punishment for speaking loudly in front of the King Rana Bahadur Saha. Do you think this play is a piercing parody on the feudal structure that existed back then? Question number 3. Who do you believe is the most clever of all the characters in the play, and what leads you to think and believe that? Question number 4. Whatever the cunning Lakshmi Narayan assures the king readily accepts. He is also readily misled by frightened Jitman in Gore's drama. Is it possible to call the king gullible? Is one who can be tricked easily? So those were the questions. The discussion is open for anyone interested. I thank everyone here for listening to our presentation with utmost patience and attention.